We've got a real exciting, let's try it one more time. Hey, this is Doug. Oh, look in the camera. Sorry.
Oh my God. You had no
Sorry.
warning.
I know. Hey guys, this is Doug and
Landon.
we are back with a really cool build. This one is, what's the model we're doing?
Tiger 2 from Takom.
And, we saw this actually in a display case at a really cool hobby shop in St. Louis. And we said, oh, man, this is awesome because it also has an interior along with the exterior. And how long did it take to build?
It probably took me like a month or two.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big of a beast of a model. So
it's incredible. So what we're going to do, because we're kind of historians, we're going to show, first of all, the history of the tank, and then we're going to show you an actual tank that's in display here in the Southeast, and then we're going to show you the model. Let's go. Welcome back to the Full Earth Workshop. This is Doug, and man, we are really excited about today's episode. We're building the Takom King Tiger, and this has been a very complex kit. First of all, if you're going to talk about the King Tiger, you got to talk about what came first, which was the Tiger 1. And this, I believe they were both in development at the same time, right?
That's right. After the introduction of the Panzer III and Panzer IV, the Wehrmacht began the development and the designing of the new tanks that would come after it. And I think what really influenced their design philosophy was what they found in Operation Barbarossa. They had fewer tanks than Russia, and they were fighting a large volume of enemy armor. And so what they needed was something heavy and something that packed a lot of punch that could deal with multiple tanks at once. And so you find that the newer tanks are going to be larger. They're going to have big guns. The Tiger 1, of course, had the 88, and they expanded upon that by giving the Tiger 2 the Pak 43 88.
One change I know about is they went to overlapping wheels but not interleaving wheels because of the problems in the Russian theater.
Absolutely, and you have some small quality of life improvements. And overall, this tank was pretty excellent. It was very well armored, never actually penetrated from the front, only hit from the side and actually damaged that way. But it's considered to be probably one of the best tanks created during the war.
We're really fortunate that we have the Fort Benning Museum that's pretty close to us here in the Southeast, and they do have a King Tiger on display, and we're showing some images of this right now, and it's pretty amazing. I never am able to see this bore cleaner up close, so it's really nice for the model that we're building to be able to see these. They used to stick them on top of each other, put a rag on the front, and clean the bore out.
Yeah, which is pretty cool to see all the tools that are being displayed on the side. So for those of you that don't know about the Tiger 2 at all, this particular one is the Henschel version. And one thing that people confuse quite a bit is that they think that the Henschel version is the one with this particular Krupp turret. And actually, Henschel and Porsche, they designed their own versions. And Porsche only designed the lower chassis, and same with Henschel. So the turret has nothing to do with it. However, Krupp had a early and late turret, and oftentimes you'll see the early turret on the Porsche version and not the Henschel. So that's kind of where the distinguishment became.
And they decided to go with the Henschel.
So they decided to go with the Henschel design for the primary production run that they had. However, Porsche was so keen on his design that he actually went ahead and produced something like 90 tanks on his own without the actual go-ahead. So they did use some of those before going to the full production of the Henschel chassis.
So did they pay for them?
Oh yeah, they ended up paying for them. They weren't going to stiff Porsche like that.
So what happened to the Porsche design then?
So the Porsche design used a diesel-electric engine, which was actually the same engine that they had used for the Tiger 1, and actually there was a Tiger 1 Porsche version that also didn't go into production. And for the same reasons, this version for the Tiger 2 was also not chosen against the Henschel version, because the diesel-electric engine that they were using just had some reliability issues, and they decided to go with more standard and more, I guess, reliable gas engine that they used for other tanks.
Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people think about World War II tanks is that they were diesel engines, whereas nearly all of them were gasoline engines.
So you can start seeing this massive Pak 43 88mm cannon. This is probably one of the most effective cannons you see, and what distinguishes it from the Tiger 1's 88 is that this one actually has a higher velocity. They put more gunpowder in the actual shell, so it was able to reach those higher velocities and kill anything it touched.
Now, was this gun built by Rheinmetall as well?
I believe it was, yeah. I think most of the guns were designed by Rheinmetall for the German armored arm. And so having these real pictures was a real aid with creating the actual model. Hopefully you can kind of see some of the interior colors are going to be represented in the model, which you'll see in a second. But overall, very cool tank.
So let's take a look at what you've been working on for the last several weeks. How long you been working on this model?
Yeah, it's taken quite a while, probably at least a month or two. And that's just because it has an interior and you have to paint literally everything on the model. You can't take any shortcuts. So it's just taken quite a bit of time. Not to mention this kit's pretty fiddly and it's very complicated. There's at least 1,000 parts in this. And man, it takes a while to put together. But hopefully you can see the result looks pretty good. I really tried to use every technique in the book. Got lots of base coating, highlighting, I've put oil paints for filtering. I've used lots of washes, I've used kind of mud effects, I've used rust effects. I've also found some new plays in the book, such as putting in weld beats, things like that.
Now, I really love the exterior on this model, but I gotta say that the interior is what really impresses me most.
Yeah, and I mean, they're almost separate models. The amount of time that you have to put into actually making the interior, I mean, I probably could have built 2 or 3 models in the time it took to build this one. Actually, if you see in this photo, it's missing the rear shells for the turret, which I have painted but haven't put in yet, so it's totally not complete, but hey, it's close enough, so I figured we'd make a video for you guys.
Well, I mean, it looks like the real thing from these photographs. I mean, that is, I guess, what the modeler is really after, to try to make it look like the real thing.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of research they must have put in to do this, I mean, it's pretty amazing. But with the interior, you can see it's pretty difficult to actually paint the thing because there are many transitions in colors from one sidewall to the next. You can't put the thing together and then paint it. You have to paint in stages. You have to paint little individual parts, put it together, glue it, which will melt the paint, repaint, and continue.
So how much rework is there on this model?
I mean, there's a lot. One little detail I wanted to show you guys is if you look closely at the shells, they each have a slightly different shade. And I wanted to try to recreate the look of parkerized steel and lacquered steel shells, because those were actually the primary used shells. The German army was running low on brass, and so brass was slowly being phased out. And so I wanted to kind of show that with the different shells I have shown.
Well, Landon, do you remember how when you made the Tiger one, I said, man, this is my ultimate favorite. It's the best one you've ever made. Well, can I change that? I think this is my favorite.
Well, thanks. Hopefully, if you guys have been watching the show, you can see a progression in my skills. I've really been trying to make the techniques I've been using more subtle. For instance, if you look at the T-34 model, you'll see lots of chipping, and I've been trying to push that back a bit. So,
well, thanks so much for showing it to us, and we'll catch you the next time.
Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
And now it's back in your hands. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell. We'll catch you next time on the Full Earth Workshop.